Welcome to another episode of Mustang Studios.
Hold on, I need to do the intro.
Hey guys, what's up? It's Rija again. Welcome to Mustang Studios, the second episode of our podcast. Let me see what else I need to say, because hold on.
See why we did delay.
Oh, yeah. Before I get to that delay, let me just type some.
Should I? Okay. Let me entertain everybody while you pull up the script.
Oh, yeah, I got the script.
Do you though? Do you really though?
Yes, I do.
Fine.
Okay, so welcome to the second episode of Mustang Studios. Okay, let's all introduce ourselves. Who do we have here today?
Hey, my name's...
Who do we have here today?
All right, can I introduce myself? Okay. My name's Diksha. That's about it.
I'm Bhavika. I'm the treasurer.
I'm Sadia, the vice president.
Padma, your public relations. Stop moving the mic. Padma, the public relations officer.
And Shreya, the secretary.
That's terrible.
All right, awesome. Sorry for the delay. We wanted to actually publish weekly episodes, and we did not do that last week because, I wasn't there.
We miss you, Rachel.
Thanks.
Build the enlighten us to why you weren't here.
Yeah, so, I was actually quarantining for all of those days. And, it was actually not that bad. The symptoms that I was getting, because I got the you-know-what.
The word is not forbidden.
What is it?
Yeah, because right now it's like for me, with my experience with it, I was okay. Like there was nothing wrong. It wasn't that bad actually, which I'm thankful for, and because it could have gotten worse, and but it didn't, and that's a blessing, you know.
Yeah.
And that's just my experience. Some people might experience it in other ways. I'm just glad that it wasn't terrible, you know.
I mean, I've heard that a lot of people had to quarantine as of late. There is a whole the variant going on or whatever. It's okay. Honestly, I think it's kind of at this point. I have a feeling we're just gonna go completely online. I'm pretty sure it's not even being cynical at this point.
Actually, that's not true. There's like a really low chance that we're not going to that we're going to go online. But even if we do, honestly, I think it's really stupid. Because why quarantine the entire population when you only need to quarantine the ones who got sick or at risk?
I don't know what they're gonna do, honestly. So, worst comes to worst, anything is possible at this point.
And as for the COVID thing, it makes travel a big pain because for my mom, she had to go back to India for certain reasons. And then she had to wait 5 whole days so she can come back home, and flights keep getting canceled. It's insane.
Yeah, I had family travel to India recently. My mom, she went to visit extended family, and then lots of unfortunate things happened. But I don't think it's necessarily because of COVID, but COVID was one of the reasons why such things happened.
And it's also been a reason why everyone's been isolated for the past 2 years. And I think rather than keep having this isolation thing going on, we should learn how to live with the virus, because from the looks of it now, it's not gonna go away for a very long time.
Yeah, we're not gonna go back to distance learning anytime soon.
I hope not.
I mean, yeah, that's the thing with the pandemic. It's not going to go away in an instant. It's going to be take years long, as you know, seen from throughout history as well.
Yeah. And speaking of which, Diksha mentioned isolation, and that's basically what we're talking about.
There are many different types of isolation. There's physical isolation, social isolation, emotional isolation. Heck, I can go on.
Yeah, actually, according to Merriam-Webster, the dictionary definition of isolation is the state of being in a place or situation that is separated from others. Or separate from others.
Isolation can cause a lot of damage to one's mental and emotional health. We are humans, so having social skills is a must.
Yeah, I think as human beings, we really crave for human interaction.
Not me though. Y'all stay safe.
I beg to differ.
All right, so the feeling of not belonging to a certain group and comparing yourself to others as around you is also a big example. Like, who else has examples of isolation? All right, Bhavika.
All right, I'm going to try my best to like remember because I was like really, really young. Okay, so one of the main things I remember from isolation, this was like back when I was in elementary school from like kindergarten to like 5th grade or whatever. I isolated myself from most kids, and like the school I went to took that as like she needs a psychologist and things like that. When in reality, I just didn't like talking to other kids and like playing with other kids. And to be honest, they didn't even like me. So
Yeah, I think there's a misunderstanding of like not wanting to talk and not being able to talk. And like that also ties with like introvertedness.
I mean, personally, I've had that kind of issue pretty much since I was little because I was that kind of kid who was very quiet. I didn't talk to a lot of people because I didn't really want to talk to a lot of people. So my parents thought for the most part I was like full on like antisocial.
You mean asocial? Antisocial is often like associated with like sociopathy and psychopathy. Just a small correction there.
Okay, I was someone who didn't socialize a lot.
Yeah, that's good.
Diksha's now the footnotes person.
Yes. Okay. I didn't really go out that often. It's not that I kept myself lonely in a way. Because my parents, they always thought I was lonely, which is different than being alone. I was alone, but not lonely. I kind of had my own thing. I was that kind of person who was really easily able to entertain themselves, even if there was like no one around or nothing to do. It was kind of in my own world, but I guess sadly it's not sadly, but like I guess that's not the case with everybody, right?
Yeah, you know what's special about Padma's case? Even if she does seem to be introverted and she seems to be like or feel very lonely, she does seem really well articulated and she has amazing conversations that keep going. And honestly, that's just something amazing coming from another like asocial person.
Asocial or introverted, would you say?
Yeah, gotta give props to Padma here.
Oh, thank you. All right, I'm done here. Let's pass it on.
Okay, and speaking of like isolation, and then there's bullying involved, which causes another type of isolation. Which, to be fair, bullying was a good majority part of my life up until recently in like high school. So like from like kindergarten to 8th grade, my whole life was majority bullying, and that came with a lot of trust issues. Like, to be honest, when I enter a new friend group, there's always this back thought in my mind of like, this is going to go wrong. This is going to sabotage itself or combust into flames one way or another. So what I tend to do is like, I tend to close up, not talk to anyone about it, or not talk to anyone, anybody, anything about these sort of problems, which ends up being a more self-destructive cycle of loneliness.
Yeah, that's why we have this podcast club, because it's super fun to spend time with your friends and it can help you feel less isolated too. So that's what I really like about what we're doing as well.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. Like, with the whole idea of being isolated, like, I mean, when it comes to being friends, you need to, like, obviously find friends that actually understand you, like, cool, hanging out, like, and stuff like that.
But that process is kind of long, isn't it?
Yeah, true. That's
how do you
true.
know for a fact that they're gonna, be there for you whenever you, like, need them or whatever? What if, obviously, everybody has their own lives, everybody has their own, like, things to do. So I feel like, I don't know how y'all would think about this, but I see this as a sort of like dichotomy that humans live in. It's like the idea that we're always alone because we are our own individual, but that individual is like unique to us specifically. And then, but at the same time, we want to be with others. We want to be part of a group. But then it goes back to the whole idea that even in the group, this group is made up of a bunch of individuals, each with their own personality, like opinions, thoughts, and ideas, right?
And even in those groups, there's like subgroups. Because, if you have a huge friend group, chances are there's going to be like intersections of people who hang out more closely with others than others people from the group.
Yeah, but then going back onto the topic of like finding good friends, it's really a filtering process. But then sometimes you kind of have to be careful in the way that you filter out the people in your life. Because then again, it goes back to the whole idea of you don't really know them all that well to figure out if they're that good, friends wise or whatever.
Friendships don't usually like happen overnight. Some take months or even sometimes years to form, and that's okay.
And not all friendships are like sunshines and rainbows. There's going to be some like messy friend breakups. There's going to be times when you're like don't even like each other at all. There's going to be times like heck, you're even enemies and then come back together again. It just happens.
Is that what you call a toxic relationship?
Yeah,
Just
like
putting that out there.
yeah, like it should always be important to make sure. So you should like make sure to understand the difference between a toxic relationship and like when you're just having like small arguments between you two.
I mean, what would be the indicators of a toxic relationship, would you say then?
I think I can give some points. Talking behind your back, stealing your things, pretending to be you in certain spaces. There's also like name calling involved. I think that comes under like talking behind your back. Just feeling like a general sense of dread or the fact that you can't trust them with your things or yourself or your friends.
That's quite extensive, but I think it also that's why I think first impressions are also incredibly important, right? Because when you meet someone for the first time, usually, I guess, I don't know, but like, first impressions are kind of made when you first meet people. You think of, oh, they must be this kind of person. Oh, based on, like, not just what they physically appear like, but their demeanor, how they carry themselves, how do they talk to others. Like, basically observing how they interact with the world around them can really say a lot. Because then sometimes, based off that first impression, you can form a gut feeling. Not form a gut feeling, but, like, you can already form an opinion of, like, oh, if I'm friends with this person, it could be a good thing. But if I'm friends with this person, it could be a bad thing or like something like that,
Would anyone like to like share any tips on how to make a good first impression?
Just be yourself. But okay. Some people yeah, sure. You want to say something?
Okay, the idea of being yourself, it's nice and all, but then sometimes there are places where it can backfire like pretty badly because not everyone is going to be into certain types of personalities, no matter what the case may be. Like, if I'll use myself as an example, like, personally, I'm not into people who have boundless amounts of energy. For some reason, I find that kind of person tiring to be around because then that energy kind of just bounces off continuously. It's like draining my energy to fuel theirs in a sense. So even though, yeah, be yourself, just kind of be careful in the way that you conduct yourself around people. That too is, I think, incredibly important.
Yeah, and also I have an example of one person getting tired of hanging out with me all the time. This was actually back in like first grade. I had this friend, and we would always hang out together. And then one time, she told me, "Rija, hanging out with you, it's just getting boringer and boringer." Because yeah, that's like our first grade grammar.
That's not a word, by the way.
I mean,
When did you turn into the human dictionary?
I mean, okay, late disclaimer to what I said. I have no hate towards people who are incredibly like energetic. It's just personally, I'm not into that kind of stuff. I like people with like, what's it? I won't say adequate, but like people have matched my energy level in a way.
Mm-hmm. That's also a good point because when you're like it's also like with me when people are completely dead in the conversation, it makes me feel like, did I say something wrong?
I think that's just a more of like anxiety thing. But no, I got completely understand what you're saying. Like at the same time, though, people with lots of energy, it's kind of just a real trip to be around. But when you're with someone who just doesn't talk, it's also kind of boring at the same time because like you're sitting there, like say something, just say something,
Anything.
break the silence, please.
Maybe they're more of a listener than a talker.
Yeah, but if you put two listeners in a singular conversation together, then it gets boring.
Yeah, it won't work.
That's true.
Obviously, because you're just gonna listen. What are you gonna listen to?
Yeah, and going back to when I was quarantining, it was very hard to be isolated from everybody in my household. I had to wear a mask indoors. I had to stay in my room. And yeah, it was pretty tough because I actually like being around my family and spending time with them. And like also like physical contact as well. Like that's like also one of my love languages too. Because I don't like it if my family, like any of my family members don't hug me or anything like that. Because then I'll feel like they don't love me that much. And it's weird, but that's just how I feel.
I see.
And
Shreya, would you like to say something?
Shreya, please say something.
You've been oddly
Back to
quiet.
listener, eh?
Yeah,
You gotta say something.
Yes. Please, Shreya, join us.
We haven't heard from our secretary in weeks.
Come on, Shreya, say something.
Is there anything like related to like isolation that you want to bring, like add to really?
We can talk about love languages.
Oh, yeah, we can.
We could, but
in a future episode.
of course, it's in the future.
I got it right on my parade like that.
Yeah, so basically, a summary of this episode, we just talked about isolation, as I said before. Yeah.
Isolation, the art of differentiating between, I wouldn't say differentiating between friend groups, but like just general awareness of the people around you, I guess, kind of understanding how to, form good groups so that, you're surrounding yourself with people that you genuinely want to be around and people who will help you. And then you can also like have a mutual relationship with those people. It's not just a one-sided kind of thing.
Sure.
You have friends that help you and you help them back.
Yeah, and also that reminds me, back in 8th grade, I wanted to like sit with these people at a table, but then there was like not enough space, but there was like one spot left. But they didn't let me sit because somebody else is gonna come and sit here.
No, I'm so sorry,
But there was like nobody else in the lunch line, so I didn't understand why they said that, and they were like making this face as well. So,
I mean,
Bro, I hate it when people
they
do
can't
that.
really like see your face. So can you like describe it?
Yeah. So they were just looking at one another and making like just a.
Yeah, that's kind of bad.
Yeah.
If it all makes you feel any better, I got pushed off a table.
Oh no.
Maybe we save that story for a later episode. I kid you not, like we could literally have an entire 2-hour special, with literally just your middle school experience.
That's true. We were all losers in middle school.
Yeah. I also want to add
I mean,
that
we're still losers right now, but like,
You're a cool loser. We're all just losers.
yeah, and I'm
That's
also
true.
worried about leaving MHHS because it will feel like everybody's gonna run away from you.
What do you mean?
That MHHS stigma? What? Why do you go to your school dirty like that, dude?
Yeah, what do you mean
sorry.
with that?
We're seniors.
Explain.
That's why I was
Why
just
would they
thinking
run
about the
away?
future.
It's like
What
more.
would they run away from, though? What would they run away from?
I don't know.
I
Anyway.
just have experience of like lots of friends moving away, and then I'll have to make new friends, and then that's like
I mean,
another
making
thing.
friends is definitely hard for sure.
How about I have an idea. Friends could just be an entire episode, dude. The art of friendship. The art of, dissecting good, like the qualities of a good friend,
Yeah, and when you go to college, you'll have to make new friends, and it'll be like a whole new world.
I'm gonna be a social science major, so my
Yeah.
job literally depends on having to like make network with
It's
people.
like super different from when you're in middle school and high school, but in college, it's even more different, because it's like everything is more new. You might go to another location, and you have to do stuff like independently as well.
Especially when I think about like going to college, like with middle school and high school, you have friends from like previous school if you're going to like the same school district. But with college, it's like going to a new place most likely. So you have to make friends and actually try to socialize.
Yeah, guys, you have to actually socialize. To all my other introverts out there, please.
Please, it'll kill you in the future. That one bold step will help you. This is how I met her.
This is what?
I met you that way.
Okay,
Yeah, because in AP Hug, you were drawing crabs on your notebook.
What's one way to make friends?
Okay. Let's just wrap this up. I'm hungry.
This conversation about friends and college will continue another time. And
So we need to get to lunch because we don't want our food to get isolated from us as well. That is the end of our second podcast episode. If you guys have anything that you want to say to us, you can email the club, give us a voice message. Go to the Dropbox Google form and type us a message in there, or go to the physical Dropbox that is outside L125, and it'll be featured on our podcast. So speaking of which, let's look at the messages that are in there right now.
Do we have time?
Oh well, we can read a few. Let's just get like.
You want to read the first one?
Yeah. So, the first one says, "Stop cramming work the week before finals. Thanks." That was actually last semester, and it was talking about last semester's finals, but maybe you can talk about this semester's finals too. Be prepared, even if it's far away.
I mean,
come back,
it doesn't necessarily have to be finals. It can be for anything, right? Procrastination. I'm pretty sure as students, we know the art of procrastination.
That can also be another topic too.
Yeah. Anyways, thank you for tuning into this episode. I hope it was.
Follow us on Instagram.
Yeah, follow us on Instagram.
And subscribe to our YouTube channel. And
if this video doesn't,
All right, guys.
With the venti.
Yeah. So
yes.
Add our podcast to our playlist. To your playlist. So okay. Thank you guys. Bye everyone. Thanks for tuning in.